Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Quickstart video. It's been a while since I've done one, so I'm going to update it right now. Now, one of the new features is the online help. Let me show you what that looks like. It's the yellow button with the question mark. Click on that and you'll open up a tab. You'll see your entire help menu in one fell swoop, all together. And you can actually print it out in PDF format, keep it out on your computer. It's all hyperlinked together. It's in different sections: your setup, teaching the class, utilities, FAQs. I've got screenshots every step along the way with arrows and pointers, so I think it's going to be very helpful. All right, so now let's go ahead and start the Quick Start. I'm going to show you how you can download the extension, and here's our search criteria. We'll say Google Meet Breakout Rooms extension by Robert Hudek. That's me. So you should get this link right here, Google Meet Breakout Rooms by Robert Hudek. All right, click on that. And you should see this purple B. If you see that, you know you're in the right spot. If you see my name, Robert Hudek, you know for sure in the right spot. Okay, so I already have it installed, so I'm just going to go over here. And once you install it, you want to click on this puzzle piece, and then you'll want to pin it to your toolbar so it'll be always there. Very helpful. All right, so now let's go ahead and start the Quick Start. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can just start from fresh. Brand new extension, no data in it. I have no courses. Oops, I do have a course. Let me get rid of that course. Okay, so I got no courses, no data at all. Okay, no courses, no data. All right. And you can accept the default settings. They're perfectly fine for most teachers. The only thing you might want to change would be tiles to tabs, but I think most people use tiles. And that's an easy thing to change. Okay, so I have the timer over here to prove that you can get this thing up and running in 1 minute. So let's get started. I'm going to click on the timer starting now. All right, so I'm going to go to the Courses tab, and I'm going to click on the green button once. I'm going to create my class, Algebra. And I'm going to click on the blue button to save it. I don't need a description. Now I'm going to go to the Rooms tab. I'm going to find my course, Algebra. I'm going to click on it 1, 2, 3 times to give myself 3 classes. 1, 2, 3. The names have to be unique. And then I'm going to click Save. I'm going to leave this blank, and the extension will give me brand new links. All right, so I'm going to go to the Meet tab. I'm going to start my class. I found Algebra. I'm going to choose 3 right there. I'm in good shape. I'm going to choose both because I want everything to open all at once. So the first room to open is my main room, and then the second room, third and fourth are the breakout rooms. So let's just make sure, yeah, everything came in, stop, 51 seconds. So pretty fast, right? I mean, of course, I knew what I was doing, but it's a very simple process. You go over here. Well, let's look at the online help because this. I really want to pitch the online help. This is a lot more detail in the help than I want to go through in this Quick Start video. But you enter the courses. See, look at this. I'll give you screenshots along the way. And then create breakout rooms, screenshots. All right, go to this tab, leave it blank. And then you go to customize your settings. Just leave it alone. Everything's fine. And then we're going to go to change your Meet layout. Now this is a one and done type of thing. You just do it once, and for the rest of your life you never have to touch it. So click over here, the triple dot, and let's look at the help menu. Yeah, click on the triple dot, and then you want to look at the change layout. And then the next thing is you want to make sure you're on the tiled mode, and you get this thing all the way out to 49. Okay, sweet, everything's good. So then let's go back. What's next on the online help? Confirm your Google Meet document account number. All right, so it's more complicated to explain than it really is. All it means is that the very first account on your PC that you log into is considered to be your primary account by Google. So whenever you create breakout links, it's considered to be owned by whatever that primary account was. So on my computer, I first logged into this account, which is my teaching account, admin@ntnu-robert. All right, so when you are at your school computer, just make sure the very first Google account you log into is your teaching account. If it's not, no big deal. You just log out and you log back in again. And make sure that order is the very first one is your teaching account. So how does that work? Well, if this account is wrong, it's not the right one, then you click on it. And then you click on this blue button and you get a pop-up, and then you just log out, log back in again. All right? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop the video and I'm going to simulate 6 students over here in the main room, and then I'll pick up from there. And simulated 6 students. So we have Henry, Yvonne, Sam, Sally, John, and Jennifer. Now, the next step is we're going to go ahead and assign those 6 students to breakout rooms. But before we do that, I want to show you can rename the rooms before you assign them to breakout rooms. It's better to do it then, otherwise your breakout room assignment link will break because you're changing the name on the fly. But if you want to change the name of the breakout room, you can. Just do it. Please do it before you make the assignments. So we're going to go over here to the breakout rooms, and we got 1, 2, 3. I just did that for convenience, but let me just make it a little bit more descriptive. We got apple, and we got orange, and then we'll just say banana. Okay, so over here, each of these rooms, Google Meets, they have a tab and a name. So the name here reflects the name on the breakout rooms list. So this one says main, this one says 1 because I haven't hit save yet, but it will say apple. And this one says 2, and this one says 3. So let's just go ahead and look at this. I'm going to click on the blue save button and then look at the tabs as we go along. I know if you're looking at this on a mobile device, it's probably too small, but I'll just call it out for you. So I'm going to click save right here, and then there we go. So we got apple is the tab name here, orange is the tab name here, and banana is the tab name there. Okay, so we're in good shape. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to navigate to the this section right here. It says assign breakouts ad hoc. So we're going to click on that. It's going to expand. We're going to go down here. We'll see our list of our students. Henry all the way down to Yvonne. If you don't see your list of students here, it's probably because you don't have them listed in tiled format over here for my extension to see it. Now, if your extension, if this window is really, really small, like you can't see them, then I wouldn't be able to see them either. Okay, so if I open this up, all I see is John. Okay, so for the purposes of allowing the extension to see everything, you could just temporarily make this thing big so that all the students appear in this screen so that my extension can see those students. Now I'll click it again, and then voila, we got everybody. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to make this main room big while we're making the assignments, and after that we can minimize it down. Okay, so we're going to go over here and let's just say that we want to follow the online help because I really want to pitch that. Online help has a lot more detail than I can cover in this quick tutorial, but let me just quickly also go through the steps we did already. So to teach a class, we selected the course and the number of rooms. Here's the course. We chose 3, as it turns out, instead of 6. You could choose however many you want. And then start the class. You could either click on the main room, which would only open up this, or you can click on both. I did both just for demonstration purposes. Most teachers will only open up the main room first, and then later on they'll open up the breakouts. Okay, and then you go over here, assign breakouts. That's what we're in right now. We clicked on the purple assign buttons and we can see all of our students there. If we don't see all our students, do like I'm doing here. Make that screen big so that I can see all your students, okay? Now, then the next step is we're going to go down here and we'll randomly assign the students. So we're going to go down here and we're going to randomly assign the students. This is fun, okay? This is fun. You just click on this randomly assign button as many times as you want until you get a combination that looks pretty good, all right? And then you could always drag and drop to even things out. So let's just say that, well, okay, Sally, as it turns out, Sally and Yvonne are really good friends. Okay, so we're going to move those 2 over. And then we'll move Henry over with Sam, and then we'll move John with Jennifer. All right, so you could drag and drop. Now let's go back to the online help, see how we're doing. And it says, well, the next step is you got to click on this button here for steps 2 and 3. All right, so let's go over here. Yep, there it is. Click on that button. All right, let's click on it. And then it says, well, you got to click here to copy the links, and then later on you paste it over here. And you click on this, and then you got to paste it over there. Let's look what the online help says. The online help says the exact same thing. You click this, and where do you paste it? I even give you a screenshot of where you paste it, which is exactly this. You're going to click right there to open up the chat box, and then you paste it down there at the bottom. All right, so let's go over to the extension. We're going to follow it step by step. We're going to click there, and then we're going to paste it. All right, and then we're going to click here, and then we're going to paste it. All right, so what happened here? Now everybody in the whole meet can see this. All the students can see this. So all the students see that what group they're in. So Yvonne and Sally see that, oh, I'm in the apple group. And then Jennifer and John see that they're in the orange group. And Sam and Henry see they're in the banana group. And they also know, how do I get to the banana group? I click on this link here. How do I get to the orange group? I click on that link there, and so on. Now, if they, fat finger it or accidentally click on the wrong link, it's not the end of the world. They just leave that meet, and then they go back, and then they would just close that extra meet down, and they would go back to the main room and then click on the correct meet. Okay, so that's all you got to do there. Now let's see, what else do we have to do? Yeah, we're in good shape. One thing I want to point out: if you have a lot of breakout rooms and you have a lot of students, it's possible you can exceed this 500 character limit that Google has. Now, Google has a 500 character limit for the amount of data, amount of information you can paste in one single paste in the chat box. So if you exceed that, I'll let you know. I'll give you a red characters, and I'll give you a notice and say, hey, you exceeded 500. And then what you could do there, it's really easy, it's no big deal. You just highlight groups of lines, just that you would approximate, probably use your judgment, that would be less than 500. Just highlight, just in batches, like 2 or 3 chunks. And then you would copy and paste it in there. Okay, so just to give you a heads up on that. Okay, so then we're going to go over here. Everything's good. All right, and then I say this. If you have not already done so, now's a good time to open up the breakout rooms if you haven't done it so already. Now remember, when I open this up, I open up everything at once, but most teachers will first open up the main room, and then later on they're going to do breakouts. So they could do breakouts before they do the assignments, or breakouts after, but just somewhere, as soon as you give them the assignments, you'll need to open up these breakouts so that they can go there. All right. And now let's go to what I'm going to do next is let me show you the difference between this and the pre-assigned. The pre-assigned is exactly the same thing, because you would still need to copy the links. So you're still going to do this, copy paste. You're still going to do copy paste, which tells the students, okay, how do I get to the orange room? How do I get to the apple room? How do I get to the banana room? But as for this, who is in what group? Oh, well, that's just something you do on the side. That's something you did before class started. So you could use any text editor. I'll just use text edit here on the Mac, and I'll just create a file just to show you how simple and easy it is. You could just type in anything. You would just type in, like I could say apple. Okay, that apple group is going to be Yvonne, and that's going to be Sally, and then orange is going to be Jennifer and John. So you can see it's in any kind of format you want, as long as it's understandable to the students, because you're going to paste this in there. They need to be able to read it and understand it and know, oh, okay, that's my group. And I say, and the last group, and the last group is banana, and that's going to be Sam and Henry. Okay, and then what I do here is I'll copy it and I'll paste it and I'll put it in there. Okay, now if you find that some of it's getting clipped off, that's because you're running up against this 500 character limit, and you could observe that and see, oh, not everything got in there, so you would just copy and paste in chunks, but 500 is pretty good size. All right, so then everybody knows where they need to go. All right, so that's the difference between ad hoc and pre-assigned. Very simple. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to, stop the video, and then I'm going to show you how they move to the different rooms, and then really the whole focus of the rest of the video, Quick Start, is this right here, the slider, controlling your audio visual, and then the broadcast, controlling your audio visual. Then we're going to talk about muting and removing students and just some simple reports, okay? But I want to show you this one thing that's really cool. As long as, I've already stretched this thing out and got this thing out of shape and it's overlapping everything, what do? I could physically, drag it back, but there's a better way. You see this button right here? It's called Retile, and it's on the top right-hand side. It's red. It's the second one over. So click on that, and then voila, everything gets relayed back, retiled in an appropriate size based off of the screen real estate. Okay, so let me start the video right now, and then I'll finish the last of this quick start. Again, what I did was I went to my second computer and I simulated my simulated students entering the different breakout rooms. So let's go take a look at that. And I want to show you one feature on the control panel, which is this top right-hand green button. You could click on that and it'll minimize the size of it because the control panel is kind of big. And at this point, we just need to use the slider portion and the broadcast portion. So let's take a look at that. All right, so here we are. We have the different breakout rooms. We have Sally and Yvonne in the Apple room, John and Jennifer in the orange room, and we have Sam and Henry in the banana room. Okay, now let's go take a look at the audiovisual controls on the slider because this is really, really important. Now I want to emphasize, please, all teachers, just use the control panel to control your audiovisual controls for your breakout rooms and also for your broadcast. I know it's very tempting to directly go to the Meet itself and click on the buttons there, but you'll be in much better shape if you just go with the control panel. And let me show you how that works. So the control panel here at the very top is a slider. So you could click on the slider, you got a left arrow and you got a right arrow. Let's just click on the right arrow and see what's going on. Now, if we click on the right arrow here, you see it tells you the name of the room you're in. It says you're in Apple. Now let's see what's going on here. You've got a speaker button. Now, all these audiovisual controls are your audiovisual controls. You're not controlling the student's audiovisual control. You're not controlling the student speaker. You're not controlling the student's microphone or their camera. It's yours. This is all your stuff, okay? And remember, you are the only one that has this extension installed. Now, please don't ask your students to install the extension. Why? Because they don't need it. And it's just, it'll get in the way. It's unnecessary, all right? If they install it, that's fine for you. I mean, it's not going to impact you one way or another. But just, please don't burden your students with installing it because they'll say, well, do I need it? And actually, they don't need it. All right, so let's go back to the control panel. So on this slider here, we're in the Apple room, and we have three controls. One of them is the speaker. That's what we hear. And the second one is the microphone. All right, so that's obvious. They can hear us speak. And then the third one is the camera. So I'll just turn those on. Okay, so here I am. And then I'm going to turn on my microphone so you can see actually that indicates that I'm talking. All right, and so you can see this is actually directly reflected down here in the Google Meet itself. So in the Google Meet itself, you can see those three buttons are green, green, green. Why? Because I got green, green, green here. Now I could turn off my camera. You see it turns off there. But my speaker's still on, right? I could turn my speaker off. All right. Now as it turns out, as a teacher for monitoring the breakouts, this is your ideal setting. You want your speaker on so you can hear the discussion, but you want your microphone off and your camera off because you don't want to disturb their discussion, right? So yes, you can notice here that you are actually present in every single one of these breakout rooms as well as the main room. So I say that you're entering and leaving the breakout room. I'm just using that just kind of in a virtual usage, but in actual fact, you really are in all the different rooms, okay, at all the time. But you're virtually in this room right here, and you can control the audiovisual devices here. Now, what's happening in all the other rooms, I have it set up on this slider that you're automatically turned off in all the other rooms, including the main room. Why? Because you don't want to disturb those other rooms. You don't want to hear the noise from all the other rooms. It'll be difficult to sort out what's going on in the Apple room if you hear all this chaos from all the other rooms talking at the same time. So that's the way the slider works. When you move into a room, okay, I'm going to move from Apple to, I'm going to make it very obvious. I'm going to turn everything on. I'm going to make it very obvious. So when I move from Apple, you see it's all green, 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 everything is all red. So when I move from Apple to orange, watch what happens. Okay, so this is only relevant for the orange room, right? What do we have? We have the speaker on, the microphone on, and the camera on, but all the other rooms are turned off, including previously, right? I was on in the Apple room, right? But I moved, and the second I move, Apple gets turned off, and then orange gets turned on to reflect this. But in my normal situation for observing breakouts, I'll only have the speaker on and I'll turn my microphone off. And I'll just cycle through all the different rooms, monitoring the progress, making sure they're on track. So we're in the orange room, you can see down there, and then we're going to go over here to the banana room. Now, what's going to happen when we hit the right arrow? Well, it's going to circle around and go back to the main room. Now, while we're on the main room, I get emails from teachers, and they're not sure. They're like, well, should I allow the students to remain in the main room? I say yes. They just need to remember to mute themselves in the main room so that they don't create noise for themselves in the other breakout room. So let's just look at Yvonne for a second. So Yvonne is in the main room, but she's also in the Apple room, right? So she needs to make sure she mutes herself and everybody else is muted in the main room so that they don't get that feedback noise from the main room while they're in the breakout room. All right, so you can monitor that as a teacher, and I'll show you in a second how you can turn off and mute people in the main room. All right, so let's go through here and we'll just cycle through again. So we're on the main room right here. I'm going to go to the next one. All right, so I'm in the Apple room. I'm listening in on the Apple room. Let's say that in the Apple room, you find that they are they're going off track. Okay, so they misunderstood the assignment. So at that point, you can jump in. You can turn on your microphone and you can turn on your camera and you can say, hey guys, what's going on? What are you guys doing? Why are you going down that path? And then they'll explain. Maybe they got a good idea. Maybe they got a good reason. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're confused. All right. A lot of times they get confused. So then you can help them, get back on track again, or maybe they run into a wall. They need a helping hand, something like that. Okay. So once you're done, then you can turn off your camera, you can turn off your microphone, and then cycle to the next room. Now, one thing I want to mention, now these are all simulated students. Now this is your teaching style, it's up to you, but I require all my students to turn on their cameras because I want to simulate as closely as possible this virtual environment to reflect the physical environment. So in the physical environment, I can see their faces. They don't hold a notebook in front of their face where I can't see them. That would be ridiculous, right? So it's just as ridiculous in a virtual classroom where they're just holding up something in front of them or they're not turning on their camera. I need to see them and they need to see me. So whenever I talk to them, this is your teaching style, but up to you, however you feel fit is most appropriate. But whenever I talk to them, I'll turn on my camera and I'll also turn on my microphone just as a courtesy to let them know, hey, I'm entering your room. I'm virtually entering your room and I want to talk to you and I want you to be able to see me so we can interact more naturally, that sort of thing. Okay, so let's just say that at some point you want to make a broadcast message to all the rooms. Let's just say perhaps that maybe your instructions were not very clear. You found out 2 out of the 3 breakout rooms misunderstood, and you need to clarify. So you could turn on your broadcast, and you can turn on your microphone, you can turn on your camera, so then everybody can see you. You try to get their attention. Once you get their attention, then at that point I turn on my speaker. Because if I turn it on right away, I just get chaos. I get noise from all the different rooms. So up to you. So then you can talk to them, clarify the instructions, or maybe one group has a really clever idea and you want to share that with the other group and say, well, you could do this extra credit activity if you want to. Okay, so everything's fine and you can get their feedback, no more questions, and then you're ready to go. So how do you exit the broadcast? Well, there's a couple ways. One way is you could just directly click the buttons and then you're out of the broadcast, or you could just simply right arrow and then you exit immediately the broadcast mode and you're back into the slider mode. Okay, so just a couple different ways of doing things. Now, what happens if you forget? It's natural. Maybe you want to directly go here and you click and you go, oh, Robert said I'm supposed to do it on the slider. Now what? Right? No big deal. Don't worry. It's all very forgivable. It's very flexible. The very next time you click on the slider, everything gets back in sync again. Okay, so let's just say that you're over here and you realize, I messed up. How do I get back? You could just, move over and move back again, and then everything's synced up again. So the slider's your best friend. The slider, just slide to the next room and back again, and then everything's synced up. Okay, so we went over that. We went over the broadcast. Let me go over the simple reports, and I'm going to expand this a little bit because the reports are a little bit longer. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to click on the button here for students. Now, Sometimes students will stay in the main room. In other words, they won't move to the breakout room for various reasons. Maybe they're confused. Maybe they're having a bad day. They need some encouragement. So you could see over here, you would see a red line if, for example, Henry was assigned to the banana room, but he wasn't in it, or maybe he went to the wrong room. So you would see, situations where it's not how you planned it. And so you can investigate those and follow up with the students there. And then the next one is rooms. It's the same information, but it's from the room perspective. Now, this hasn't happened to me, but some teachers said that you get interlopers. You get people, friends of people in your class that would invite their buddies to join in. They would email them the link, or they would text them the link and say, hey, come join my breakout room. So in that case, you could see in a particular room, let's just say the orange room, Jennifer invited a friend, Mary, to join in. And hey, what's Mary doing? Mary's not in my class, but she's in my room. Okay, so you can see that. All right, and in the middle is a timer. This timer is only for you. It's only for you, but it's just a reminder that, maybe this is a 15-minute assignment, and then you can start it, and away you go. Now, I know Zoom has timers where they actually are physically inside those virtual rooms, and that's great. I mean, I think that's a nice feature. But I want to point out that the differences between this and Zoom, this extension in Zoom, and this extension in Google Meet paid version. In the Zoom version and the Google Meet paid version, you can only see one breakout room at a time. You're only in one room at a time. Whereas, in contrast to this, it's just simulates in a virtual situation, simulates your physical classroom. You can see all your breakout rooms, all your students all at once. And again, these are simulated students. Normally they'd have their cameras on, so you could see somebody if they're disengaged, they're not participating. You can know right away, and you can jump to that room and you can ask them, hey, what's going on? You need some help, or can you tell me what's up? And so it's just a much easier, more responsive way to manage your class. And that's the feedback I got from other teachers. That's also my personal experience. So I want to point out that difference here. It's a virtual classroom where you can see all your students in all the breakout rooms all the time. So that's the biggest difference. Okay, so let me stop the timer here, and let's go to the next step, and that is going to be, let me expand this. And that's going to be down here. We're going to mute and remove students. All right. So as it turns out, I don't have any students talking, but let me go back to my second computer over here, and I'm going to randomly just turn on microphones. So just bear with me for 1 second. Let's go take a look over here in the main room. So who's talking here? We got Henry, John, and Sam talking. All right. So what do you do in a situation like that? Where you can go to this. You can go mute and remove students. And you could say mute all in main room. Now what this button does is once you click on it, it's going to go through simulated keystrokes within Google Meet, and it'll just find students that are not muted, and it'll just mute them. So it'll take a little, a few seconds to go through this, but overall it's a lot faster than you actually doing it. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. And once you click on it, just hands off the keyboard, just let the extension do its work. So you get a pop-up window, and then the extension will actually click on the pop-up window for you, and then you should be in good shape. Okay, so everybody's muted there. And let's go take a look at the other rooms. We've got Sally's talking over here, and then Sam's over here, and we got a lot of people talking. All right, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to show you, one is, where am I right now? I'm in the banana group. Okay, so I do have a mute here. It says mute all in this room. So it turns out I'm in the banana group. So I should just mute Sam only when I click on this button. Okay, so Sam's muted. Now I have another one that says mute all in all rooms, which will include the breakout room. But I'll just do this one right here. Mute all in all breakout. So I'll click on that, and then let's just see what happens here. Where am I going to put myself? Anyway, I'll just click right here, mute all in all breakouts. So again, for this, hands off the keyboard, just let the extension do what it does. All right, so it looks like we're in good shape. Everybody's muted. Now, the next one we want to do is what? Let's say it's time to close up breakouts, and you want to have everybody go back to the main room. A couple ways of doing that. You could do your broadcast. You could always do your broadcast. And you can say, hello, everybody. Time's up. Let's all go back to the breakout room. So please migrate back to the main room and close up your breakout. Now, in most cases, people will leave and they'll close out the breakout, but some people will forget. So when they forget, you can remove them. Now, do they reside in both rooms at the same time? If they have a computer, they have the ability to do that. If they're on a mobile device like an iPad or an iPhone, Google Meet has a requirement that you can only be in one room, one breakout session at a time. So you would not be able to be in the main room and the breakout room at the same time if you're on a mobile device, just to let you know. All right, so here we go. We're going to remove the students, and we'll say breakout's over, remove all from all breakouts. So I'm going to click on that button, and let's see what happens. Okay, great. All right, I'm going to turn off my broadcast. All right, now the breakouts are over, so maybe it's time to hang up. Okay, let's go ahead and hang up. So we hang up all the breakouts. And then what else do we want to do? At this point, I want to cover the reports. You can just click on these. It'll download a CSV. These are just basic reports, nothing really special, but they are helpful. Attendance, it tells you, it gives you a timestamp. I use these two quite a bit. Who are in the different breakout groups. And let's see, what else do we have? I think that's pretty much it. There's a button here that I didn't go over. It's hide, unhide. It's on the very top. It's the third one over, just right next to the yellow question mark. So we'll click on that, hide and unhide the toolbar, give yourself a little bit more room. Okay, let me go back to the online help because I really want to pitch that. All right, so what did we do in this last section? We talked about navigating. So to move between the rooms, I'll talk about this, and you could click on that. It'll enlarge the image. So we talked about you can move left. That's the name of your current room. Move right. You can click on that yellow dot and move it around. And then these audiovisual are yours, not the students. This is your speaker, your microphone, your camera. And in this current situation, it's on. In this current situation, it's off. It's off. Okay. And then what else? I'll talk about that. When you move to the other rooms, all the other speakers are off. When you're in a certain room, all the other rooms have their AV off. So the AV in all the other rooms are off for speaker, microphone, and camera. Okay, and then I showed you this, the microphone, and I showed you this. I talked about the hide, unhide. We went over retile. We went over maximize. I showed you these reports. Export, import. Okay, now there's two export imports. One is on the room tab, which will export and import only these room links. But that's not really what you want in most cases. In most cases, what you want is this. You want to export, import all your extension data. How do you do that? You go to the courses tab. Let's look at this. So export, import. I said the most common usage is just copy the entire project, and that's in the courses tab right here. So when you click on this black button over here, export, import, you get this pop-up, and in this pop-up, you put the name of your text file that's going to be downloaded to your download folder, and then you can bring it in. All right, so let's take a look at that, and I want to show you that. It's really pretty cool. So we're going to go over here. Why would you want to import, export? Let's say that you want to run this on two computers, one at school, one at home. So you got it all set up the way you want to at school, and then you want to also use it at home. You can export the data from your school computer, import it to your home computer, or if for whatever reason you need to uninstall the extension. Before you do that, you don't want to lose all your data, so you can export it and then bring it back in again. All right, so that's the couple most common usages. So let's go over here. We're going to export it, and then I'm going to say, I'm going to call this my algebra. How about that? My algebra. and that's going to export to my download folder. Okay, away I go. Now let me just prove to you this works. It's really cool. So you're going to go over here and see I have all these links, and then and I have the algebra course. Well, now once I delete that algebra course, I'm going to lose everything. But because it's all these links are tied to the algebra course. If the course is gone, you lose all that. So I'm going to deliberately delete this data. I'm going to click save, and boom, they're all gone. Oh no, what do I do? All right, but remember, I had backed this up because I'm a very careful person. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go import it, and it's going to go to my. I'm going to pull it in from my download folder, and then I'm going to import it. Let's just see what happens. Boom. Hey, it came back, and so did all my links. Okay, so this on the courses tab, click the black button for the export import, and that could be your best friend. Okay, so we're going to go over here and take a look. We did everything. I got some FAQs and so on, but I think we're pretty much done. So we're all done, and let's just have some fun. Let's remove some students from the main room. So we're going to, class is over, remove everybody from the main room. Let's just go ahead and do that. Goodbye, Sam. Goodbye, Sally. Have a good day, Jennifer. All right, and there we go. All right, so that's it. And then we're ready to go. There's just, there is kind of a delay, like a 30, 45 second delay that some people in the Google forums recommend that you hang out in your room for about 30, 45 seconds just to make sure that nobody re-enters. And then if nobody re-enters within, say, a minute time frame, then you can go ahead and hang up the class and feel pretty good that they can't re-enter. All right, so that's pretty much it. I hope that you saw the value in this online help. Right? So you can go through these links. It describes in a lot more detail than what I did in the video, but at least the video, I walk through all of these, and you can print this out in PDF format, keep it on your computer, and that's about it. If something breaks or whatever, send me an email, and let's just see if I can fix it. All right, so thanks a lot. Have a great day.